Good morning, friends. Have you ever noticed that when you decide to do something that fear gets really, really loud? Trust me too. You're listening to Seriously, the Claudia Project, your daily morning show focused on motivation, lifestyle, and really making your life look the best that it can in real life. I'm your host, Claudia, and today is Mindset Monday. So we are talking about fear and how you can overcome it and reframe it to be something that you can actually use to change your life every single day. The way we're gonna look at this is fear equals data. Not necessarily danger. So if something doesn't matter to you at all, or it means nothing, you likely will not really feel anything about it. And so that means that you're probably not pushing yourself as far as you probably can. So when things start to feel fearful and you start to doubt things, it means that you're on like the precipice of like making change, which is exactly what we want. We want to be creating goals that make you feel a little different. It feels like there's a little bit of tension because that means that you're like stepping into changing who you are and what you've always sort of been. The goal really matters, and so making sure you're setting yourself up for something that you actually want and actually need is really important. That way it doesn't feel unnecessary, because that's like the opposite of what we want, right? We definitely don't want to be setting up goals where it's not scary in like this is gonna make me someone different, as much as it like you feel absolutely nothing, and so you feel absolutely no need to do it. And so being super honest with yourself about what those goals really are is super important for like steps one. There is uncertainty when you're thinking about making change, and fear is going to show up in that uncertainty. Growth is going to be uncomfortable no matter what it is. And so being uncertain about it is definitely a part of the journey, and making sure that you're leaning into that uncertainty is definitely a part of it on this fine Monday, right? Your identity is changing, and that can be very challenging for one, who you've known yourself to be, and then definitely all of those people around you. So as you start setting those goals, it's really important to be in tune with yourself and making sure that you know like this is something that you really want again, and then making sure that all the people around you are focused on helping you get to that next goal, because it can be very challenging to like decide that you want to do something, be fearful of it, and then also have people around you not adjusting to those things. So making them feel comfortable too, and talking through it, and making sure that all of y'all are on the same page so that you can grow and continue to evolve together. 3 moves to work with fear. Let's talk through it. Number 1, name it specifically. I am afraid of going to grad school because of how it will change my schedule, right? And so just getting ahead of it and just being like, okay, these are the things that I'm afraid of in going to grad school. And then figuring out how can I make sure that I adjust my schedule now so that when grad school comes, I've already set myself up for success in like how much homework there's going to be, how much travel there might be depending on the school I decide to go to, and then setting myself up to like start eliminating some of those goals. Also just acknowledging that I am afraid of what that really looks like. That way when it starts happening, I'm not like shocked and amazed. And so that's something that I'm thinking about, but you need to write down your own. That way you can get ahead of what is your actual fear of, and just name it and start working through it. If you keep pretending like nothing is there, you will never be able to solve it, right? And so that's like definitely step number 1. Step number 2, fear setting. What does that mean? I'm sure you're asking, because I was asking myself that too. Fear setting is just like as simple as, what's the worst likely outcome? So I'll do something small. Like for me right now, my number 1 focus is like weight loss. And the fear is really like, if I start doing it and it is successful, like, then what will I do? And I don't even know why I'm fearful of that, but that's definitely what it is. It's like I've just gotten comfortable with not pushing myself. And so the fear is likely, well, there's really no fear in like what's the worst that could come. The worst is that my clothes will fit, and then I'll be happy, and then I won't have to complain about it. But maybe the secret is that I like to complain, and it gives me something to talk about. And who likes doing that? So anyway, that's just weight loss. And so that one's kind of funny, right? But what is the worst likely outcome of you like putting yourself out there and like going for what you really want? Likely it's nothing bad, and so getting rid of that first fear is super important, and just acknowledging that like you can do hard things, and there's only so many bad things that can really come of you doing it, and so get over it and just give yourself the benefit of the doubt and go for it, right? Number 2, how would I prevent it? So if something bad is going to happen, how can I get ahead of that? So I'll use the grad school example, right? Okay, the travel might be a little bit hectic. How can I get ahead of that? Well, I could travel the morning of. That way I'm not away from my family as long. That way I'm only there for Fridays and Saturdays. If I decide to go to a grad school that's out of town, I could decide that I don't really want to deal with that, and I could pick a grad school that's in Atlanta, and then I don't have to worry about the travel at all. And so making the decision on the first part kind of goes into the second. If the second is that like I don't want to be rushing on Friday mornings, and maybe I travel late Thursday night. That way I can get there, get comfortable, get set up, and then I'm already in the town that I need to be in for Friday morning, and then, you know, vice versa. But how can I get ahead? How can you get ahead of like what your fears are and all of those things, and start setting yourself up for success? Those are all things you can think about right now, because there's only so much you can control, but these are super duper easy ones to really be thinking about. If it happens, how would you repair it? So go ahead and start setting yourself up for like B results, C results, D result. If this happens, what do I do in the interim of that? And here are my plans, and here are the people who can help me make sure that I'm set up for success if the worst thing that I'm thinking about actually happens, right? And so you go ahead and like have those backup plans in place, and then you will have a plan for what you're gonna do. If it happens, how would you repair it? There's always a way to fix things. And so don't get so caught up in like what ifs and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because there's nothing you can do outside of just like doing your best and having a backup plan and giving the rest of it kind of to the universe to kind of go forward, right? If I'm like someone who is, you know, God is looking out for us and like all of the things that you must do to make sure that he feels good, he or she, I don't know. That's not what this is about. But I just think that the majority of the time that the better thing is going to happen. And if something bad is supposed to happen, that's just like the way that it's supposed to be, and there's no way to really change that. And so thinking the worst is not helpful for you. And also you have to just make a plan on what you're going to do once that happens. And so having a backup plan so that you feel good and confident going into whatever it is that you fearful of, in order to make those next steps this fine Monday, is like super important. Yeah. If the fear is about being seen, it's a visibility rep. If it's about not being ready, it's a practice rep. So let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about what this anchor line really means and like how you can kind of take that on. If the fear is about being seen, then it is truly about practicing being out there. So like if we're talking about being on a podcast, it is definitely about getting used to being on camera, talking to you guys, putting it out there in the world and people seeing it and consuming it and then giving feedback. So that's just something I have to practice. If it's about not being ready, that's grad school. That's about practicing. So like studying for EA exams, making sure I'm setting myself up to have enough time to study when the time does come, talking to people who are in grad school now, figuring out how they feel. And I've got a few friends in grad school right now, and let me tell you, it does require. So, things to think about, things to keep doing. Fear cannot hold you back forever, so just make sure you keep putting yourself out there, decide what you want to really focus on, and then spend the time coming up with these plans to make sure that you can get ahead of it and make sure that you can keep making things happen, because if not, then you'll be stagnant and you'll feel stuck, and that's not what you want year over year, right? Like being afraid to post, being afraid to study, being afraid to say, I want to lose the weight, is scarier at first, but once you just acknowledge that that's what you actually want, make a plan, make a backup plan, you can do this. And I'm here for you to make sure that everything that you want to do actually happens. You know what time it is. Blow up in 90 seconds. So, last week on Friday, we talked about the 5-second rule, which I hope you guys have been implementing, and I've even been using it since I told you guys about it for my morning alarm, which, listen, some days I wake up, some days I don't. I'm just doing the best that I can, just like you guys are out here. But what I want you guys to focus on today is the 10-minute timer. So what you're gonna do for this 90-second glow up for the day is set a 10-minute timer for anything you've been putting off. Set the timer, push start, and then give yourself 10 minutes to go through it. Have you done your taxes? I don't know, but take 10 minutes, go on your online portal, pull up all your tax information, send it to your tax person, log into TurboTax, and get your taxes done. Whatever the thing is for you, that's top of mind for me. I need to make sure that I do my taxes. We filed an extension. It's time to get it done. Set a 10-minute timer and do something that you've been putting off. Have you been putting off laundry? 10-minute timer, get it done. Have you been putting off dishes? You guys know how much I love the dishes over here. 10-minute timer, get it done. Take the time to do what needs to be done and just get it over with. It will make you feel so much better. You need to start all of these days by setting your 3 goals for the day. What are the 3 most important things for your day? And then set that 10-minute timer so that you have at least 10 minutes during the day to knock it out. Every single one of us has 10 minutes that we are not using to be our most productive selves. So don't you tell me that you're too busy to get it done, okay? I don't want to hear about that. I want you to set that 10-minute timer. You can do this. Glow ups are important. Seriously. Seriously, seriously, seriously. Super important. You can do it 90 seconds. That's all I want to hear. That is your 90-second glow up. That you can do it. Do it immediately after this countdown. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go for it. 10 minutes, knock it out. All right, you guys know the next segment is Atlanta in real life. Let's do it. So last week we went to Grind on Friday. This week on Monday, I want you to try going to the Atlanta BeltLine to the Eastside Trail. I want you to do it for a sunrise walk. I want you to do it go to a quick coffee. Get on the Eastside Trail of the BeltLine and go for a little walk. Get you a coffee. Get those steps going. I think it's a really cool part of the city to give you something different to see. It's not like the normal park right next to what do you call that? Piedmont Park. So it's just like a different side of the city, which I think will be super nice. And it'll give you just some steps nice to see out there. I think going first thing in the morning would be beautiful. I'm more of like an afternoon walk girl, so I think going at night would be really great too. But the BeltLine is where we are shouting out today. Let me know a few coffee shops over there that you guys like. I've tried a few different ones. I haven't found anything that I necessarily love just yet. I think there's like quite a few people who are just like putting out coffee who like don't necessarily love it. And so I'm looking for a coffee shop where people really love coffee, you know what I mean? Cause I'm like I'm just like a drip coffee girl. I'm not like an espresso latte. I just want like a regular coffee. I prefer to drink it black. I'm fine to put cream in it. But that's what I'm kind of looking for. And so right now, most important to me is getting my steps in. And so that's why I'm suggesting this. Also, it's free. It doesn't require any money at all, especially if you find free parking. There's tons of places to park over there where you don't have to worry about that. And you can get your steps in and have just a little bit of active time outside. And then lastly, the community moment for the day really just goes out to all of you, just for keeping me motivated. I'm getting so many comments, mostly text messages from you guys, like shouting out the episodes and letting me know that you see what I'm doing, which I really appreciate right now. I would love to shout more of you out. Make sure you comment below and don't just text me personally. However, that does count. There are a few of you that are like letting me know all the time that you're watching, and I truly appreciate you. So super shout out to you for holding it down. We really appreciate it. We are coming up on our 15 minutes here. And as always, seriously, it's been so nice being with you guys today. I hope that you take this episode and you like reach out and grab the fear that you've been holding on to and acknowledge that like it just means that it's something you really care about and you need to lean into the fear, not away from it. That way you can do something that you've physically never done before. Change is on the other side of like how you're feeling right now. So as always, seriously, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm your host, Claudia. I will be back here bright and early tomorrow for another morning show. Seriously, this is the Claudia Project. Thanks so much for being here. Bye guys.